first speaker we have is Darryl Smith. He's the Executive Director. Darryl has a long history of experience in real estate brokerage, neighborhood revitalization, municipal government, workforce development, and place-based community development. In 2009, Darryl was appointed Deputy Mayor of the City of Seattle and served 4 years overseeing the Departments of Neighborhoods, Civil Rights, Housing, Human Services, Economic Development. He has held a variety of civic roles, including President of Rainier Valley Chamber, Board of Seattle Planning Commission, and appointed Mayor's Economic Opportunity Task Force. Darryl has been an active resident participant in racially and economically diverse Southeast Seattle for over 25 years. So Darryl's super busy. Musa Sam, he is the Homeownership Center Director for HomeSight, and he holds a Homeownership Counseling Certificate for the Program Managers and Executive Directors. As Director of the Homeownership Center, Musa oversees the lending and counseling teams, ensuring efficient service delivery, compliance with all federal and state program regulations, and attainment of performance goals. Musa has an extensive financial background with 20 years of experience in retail banking, investment services, mortgage lending, and a proclivity for the nonprofit sector as influenced by his own experiences. Musa is a community outreach leader who strives to assist underserved, low and moderate income populations with diverse cultural settings. Musa holds a Master of Public Administration with a focus on nonprofit leadership from Seattle University, and I welcome you both and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's really good to be with all of you today. Appreciate the invitation, and as Michelle mentioned, and I haven't read my bio in a little while, but at one point I was a member of the WAR. I don't know if the name has changed, but I was a broker with Windermere Mount Baker here in Southeast Seattle from 1995 until about 2008. So I made it through the first great crash, and then got sidetracked by city municipal government and the mayor's office for about 4 years. But it's always a pleasure to speak with folks in the industry, former clients. I'll talk a little bit more about the new relationship that HomeSight has built with my former outfit, Windermere Mount Baker. But first, just a little bit about HomeSight. As mentioned, we have been around since 1990. I do like to joke that part of my job is making sure we are no longer the best kept secret in Western Washington or across the state as a mortgage lender, but really we have three primary lines of business at HomeSight. One, we are a longtime developer. We're a home builder. We've built hundreds of homes from the Central District on through Southeast Seattle. And as a affordable homeownership organization, we really are focused on building quality homeownership opportunities for LMI, or low and moderate income individuals. A second line of business for us is our community development work. And as a place-based community development corporation, we really try to deliver for the community and partner with the community in ways that help build their own sense of deep roots in community. As was mentioned, we are focused in those areas where we do our business, particularly here in Southeast Seattle, a little bit in the Central District as well, partnering with organizations like the Martin Luther King Business Association, the Othello neighborhood, Onboard Othello. We have a long history there as well. Columbia City, the neighborhood in which I live. So where we live and do our business, we are a partner in community as well. And then finally, primarily what we'll talk about here today is HomeSight is a CDFI, a Community Development Financial Institution, as signified by the Treasury. We are a first and second mortgage lender. We have a lot of different down payment assistance programs as well, primarily serving those at 80% or less area median income, but we'll get into a little bit where we can be more flexible as well. So let's go ahead and we'll spin through a couple of these slides at a high level, and then we want to talk to you about some specifics as well. We'll go to the next slide up. We'll get through these fairly quickly. So again, there's our mission, which was talked about. We are a nonprofit mortgage lender, a community development organization here in Washington. We've got now 31 years experience. Okay, we'll keep moving. First and second mortgages. So we work only with conventional Fannie and Freddie type products. Everything we do is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It also must be a primary residence for all of our borrowers as well. We do PUDs, we do condos, single family residences, leaseholds, new construction, manufactured, as long as it's built on the land itself. Where we are a little bit different from a bank, and this is where it gets, I think, really creative, and where we're serving a niche that is maybe not always served as openly as one should at a regular bank. Our FICO score, 620 is our minimum. We don't adjust prices for credit, loan to value. We really can be a little bit more creative. We are a portfolio lender, so we have a pretty good sized portfolio for an org of our size. So we can be a little bit more creative with some of our products, and Musa will talk a little bit more about that. We'll go to the next one. HomeSight purchase assistance. Here's where we really do stand out. We do amortizing second mortgages, traditional 30-year fixed rate mortgages to cover the down payment and all of that, but we do deferred mortgages, deferred loans as well. So here we have, payments are deferred for the term of the loan. Interest is accrued, but it's a very small number. And basically that borrower can make those payments, or they can just wait 30 years, or if the home is sold or refinanced, then that becomes payable. But really the goal here is to get that person in the home, to kind of close the gap, especially here in the Puget Sound region, our 3-county area, where, as you know far better than I, price escalation has been just incredible and really difficult for purchasers to compete. We can go up to about 103% of the purchase price. Next slide. Okay, so how are we creative and a little bit different? This is a great story. So Sam Smith, the legendary Washington state legislator, who was the first to really get the open housing law passed here in the state of Washington in about 1967. He moved from the legislature to the Seattle City Council, where he passed a similar bill with his creativity and legislative expertise, opening housing up here in the city of Seattle. We've worked directly with Sam Smith's son, Carl, and his family members, and we're really honored to name a new fund that HomeSight has developed in partnership with my former firm, Windermere Real Estate. We also have a partnership with US Bank and with NAREB, the African American based Real Estate Professional Association, and a few other groups as well, to create a fund of private dollars. So these are dollars that do not come to us through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. The Sam Smith Fund allows us to actually go up a little bit, because what we noticed in our own sort of analysis was that most of our loan products and down payment assistance were geared toward folks making 80% area median income. Well, we also serve folks that are between 80 to 120% area median income. And for those folks, there were almost no down payment options available, particularly for BIPOC and African-American families. So we came up with a fund to address just that. We have other funds available as well that are mission driven, but this particular fund is designed for Black African-American homeowners, potential homeowners. It's a 30-year mortgage. It helps increase their purchasing power. We're doing between about $6,000 and $12,000 down payment assistance. I'll let Musa talk about the full picture, but this is a really important new product for us. We just launched it this past November. It has a bunch of money in it, and we're really anxious to work with your membership to see that we can get more African-American and Black families into home ownership, in particular here in the 3-county area. We'll go to the next one. And that might be it, actually. There we go, some income limits. I'm going to let Musa jump in here a little bit, because we offer other down payment assistance programs. We have one for the state of Washington. This can be used anywhere in the state, called the Social Justice Down Payment Assistance Fund, our Social Justice Fund. That will allow us to help any family, any BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color family in the entire state of Washington with, I think it's up to about $10,000. And so we layer all of these funds. So Musa, talk a little bit about how we do this in terms of our lending products, the layering, and where we can use them.
Absolutely, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you everybody for being here. So as far as our down payment assistance, we have of course, so we work with the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, and also we work with the state government as well. So what we do is we have before anything, we are lender. So all of our program are going to be used here at HomeSight. We don't allow other lenders to use our DPA as a backup to their first mortgages. Everything we do is here. HomeSight provide the first mortgage, and also on top of that, we piggyback that to layers of product, and it can go to up to, I've seen up to 7 loan piggyback to the first loan to help our clients be able to reach their, be able to close a deal and achieve their dreams of home ownership. So what we do is these income guidelines are given to us by the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. We follow what they give us here. So when somebody comes in, income is of course credit 620, but income is one of the main factors that we use in order to qualify our borrowers. And like Darryl says, once we set the first, which is a conventional loan, we can then use some of the other loans. Like, let's say somebody's buying in the city of Seattle, we can secure them $55,000 from the city. And on top of that, HomeSight has its own trust fund. We have our own bucket of money here. And from there, we put another $25,000 from HomeSight. And if the clients need more money, then we can use other funds. Like the social justice funds is another deferred loan at 0%. And some of our loans are the deferred loan are very low percentage. It goes from 0 to 3%, depending on the particular product. But the social justice fund is at 0%, and the clients can get an added $10,000 added to their DPA program. So that's how we do these things. And as far as the Sam Smith, it's between 6 to 12,000, depending on what the clients want. But for that one, it's targeted for clients who are above the 80%, from 80 to 120, because sometimes we find that those folks are close to getting deals done, but they don't qualify for the income guideline that are set up for the 80% and below. So therefore, that product is special designed for that, the Sam Smith. But other products are designed and be able to use by almost everybody. Darryl, you're on mute.
Thank you. How many times have we said that this past 2 years? At any rate, 2 other programs, when I talk about our mission-driven products that make us really different as a lender, a nonprofit community-based lender, is we have developed, it's taken quite a few years, but we have what we call our halal loan. It's a Sharia compliant loan. We have one of the largest Muslim populations in the country here in Western Washington. Many, great community members up and down the 3-county area here, particularly in South County. And so this is a loan product that I'll give Musa a tremendous amount of credit on, that we were able to develop. It is now approved by the Housing Finance Commission, therefore we can resell these loans in a secondary market. But we work with a group out of Michigan, and they are an intermediary. So if you happen to have a devout Muslim family and they would like to seek home ownership, finally, there is a loan product that does not put interest on that family, so they can actually participate in home ownership. The intermediary actually is sort of listed as a beneficiary along with the homeowner. The homeowner pays the beneficiary pays the note. So the family itself is not engaging in paying interest. And this has been, we worked with the imams to actually make sure that we were meeting all of their standards. So this is something we've been able to use a couple of times. It's also pretty new for us, but the fact that there now is a secondary market means we can roll this out pretty wide. And so we're really excited to talk more about that and engage with folks that are serving that segment of our community here as well. The last one I'll mention is something that you can find at a commercial lender, but I'll tell you how we're different. This is an I-10 product. This is a loan product that does not require a social security number. It's alternate credit. Very, very important. We expect to use this product a lot, in particular as we get out toward Eastern and Central Washington for our rural and farm worker families, but here in the Puget Sound area as well. Anybody that needs alternate credit, this is a product that actually looks at different things. Musa can talk about the detail on it, but The area that makes us different, because you could go to a commercial bank or lender and probably find a similar loan, but our down payment assistance requirement is much lower on this particular product, and we can layer our down payment assistance with it. Musa, what did I miss there on the I-10 product?
Absolutely, you covered it pretty much. On this program, just to go back, on most of our program, we only require $2,500 from the clients or 1%, whichever is greater, which I think is a big deal for somebody buying a house. But on this particular program, because of the risk implicated in it, because we're dealing with folks who, quote unquote, are undocumented, we require a 5% down. And we've done some research, and most lenders out there we require 30% down. So we're requiring 5% down on this one. And as far as credit, most of these folks don't have credit score. So we look at alternative credits like lease and their rent payment, or cell phone payment, or utility payments. So we use those as criteria to qualify them. So this is a huge deal for us, because we have many folks interested in buying a home who are not documented. So that has been a limit for them. So with HomeSight doing this, we've seen we've seen people coming to us and inquiring about this and being able to send folks our way. And we work with many of the local partner organizations around here that have been sending us clients in for this program. So this is a huge deal for us right now.
It's really exciting for us because, when we think about the connections and the relationships we're building down in Yakima Valley, for example, we have a board member who sits on the Office of Rural and Farm Worker Housing, and you have families that have been, making regular lease payments for decades, have never been able to buy a home. Now, all of a sudden, we have a loan product that could potentially work for them. And I think there's some applicability right here in Puget Sound region as well. And so for us, because we're a CDFI, again, Community Development Financial Institution, we are supposed to take more risks than a regular bank. That is part of what we're about. So we are a portfolio lender. Our portfolio, nudges anywhere in the kind of 38, 40 million bucks, depending on what's going on. So we hold a bunch of our own paper. We do sell in the secondary market, which is very important for us to free up capital, but it does allow us a little bit more flexibility. And that's really exciting for us to play that role in the community. When we get back to the second leg of our stool, or first leg, if you will, as a builder, we are breaking ground this fall on a limited equity co-op right here in Southeast Seattle near Othello Station, the light rail station. This will be a 68 unit co-op. Co-ops are very rare here in Western Washington, if not the West Coast. This limited equity co-op, we're projecting right now with the level of subsidy we have in it, that a 2-bedroom unit, maybe even a 3-bedroom unit, in the city of Seattle would probably project out around $85,000, $90,000. Now it's a co-op, so you don't own your 4 walls, but you're owning shares within that corporation that has the blanket mortgage. It's a way for a family to build equity because those shares can be passed down, they can be sold. Some of you, I think in my 15-year career, I only sold 2 co-ops in the city of Seattle because they're rare, but this will be a model we believe we can continue to build upon. What's really unique about this particular co-op, ULEX is what it's called. It'll be in Southeast Seattle. You can go on our website and take a look at it. The renderings is we're doing a big education process for potential buyers because a lot of people don't understand what a co-op is. First of all, that it's kind of an intentional community. But the other piece about it is the mathematical equation that allows folks to pull equity out is just that. You get to pull equity, but it's not the full amount if it was a condo on the open market. But it keeps it permanently affordable because, again, for us as a charter and our mission, we want to create home ownership opportunities for low and moderate income families so they can build equity, buy their 2 or 3 bedroom co-op, stay in it 3, 7 years, forever if they want, pass it down. But if they decide to sell it, pull some equity out and then go maybe buy that house in the suburbs that they always dreamt about. But this is an opportunity to get started for young people, for people downsizing. And a unique feature for us, because of our place-based nature, is there's a community preference policy here that if you have historic ties to the Central District in Seattle or Southeast Seattle, but you left because you were displaced because of the cost of housing, you get first dibs on a certain number of units that are essentially set aside to meet community needs. So we do affordable home ownership, and we're trying to make it part of our suite of services that allow people to remain in place or to come back. It's really an anti-displacement tool as well. So we're a lender, we're a builder, and a community place-based development partner with community. So that's a little bit about HomeSight, what we're up to. We're really excited to be here, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, but we're anxious and looking forward to working with you. A couple of particulars that are important to know if you do decide to have any of your folks from your team or yourselves come and work with us is a home inspection is required. Now, we don't do the home inspection. You'd still use whoever your inspectors that folks work with. But we do require one simply because when we are putting that loan together, we want to make sure the house is habitable. These do have to be owner occupied. And so the inspection is yours, but we just ask that it get done essentially. So that's one piece about it that's important. Are there any more slides in there? Just to remind me that I don't miss any important points. So Musa, talk a little bit about this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Just to mention here that we want to make sure that the home that we are financing are, move-in ready. So we want to make sure that our borrowers won't get into a place where they cannot live in, they have to fix up, because we want to make sure that they don't use their assets and put that in that and miss their mortgages. Because one of the biggest things here at HomeSight is we want to make sure that we have clients who can maintain their mortgage payment and be able to stay in their home for the long run, because our goal is to give people stability first and foremost in getting into a home. But the second thing is we want to help them build generational wealth. That way they can catch up and be able to, live the American dreams, and possibly a few years down the road, they can pull equity and help their kids with their college education and such, or investment that they may need.
The other thing that's important to know about HomeSight, and it is really kind of, I guess the secret sauce, if you will, for our success, is that whenever a potential home buyer wants to do business through HomeSight, and we work with a lot of realtors in that regard, that home purchaser has to take home buyer education classes with us. I believe it's an 8-hour class. We do it online. We also have on our staff 2 HUD certified homeownership counselors as well. This is a really important piece. HomeSight has an incredibly small loan loss reserve record. Our borrowers, they're successful. They make their mortgage payments. And a part of that is they really understand the economics and the budgeting that's required. So the homeownership counseling piece is really important for us. And it is a requirement when a borrower uses our services. And they do get that one-on-one counseling with our great counseling team and with our HUD certified staff members as well. And that really is helpful. And I would even venture that, when a realtor works with HomeSight and you're presenting that offer, from the perspective of someone who used to do this all the time for 15 years, there will be sellers out there that appreciate the type of buyers that are coming to them that have HomeSight as a backed mortgage and company. And I don't think it's a detriment. I think there are a lot of people that understand that the building of generational wealth is really good for the overall community, and that this loan will come together. And when HomeSight works on it, we have a very, very good track record. We also, from the perspective of all of you as brokers, our turnaround, we try to emulate the market. Moose is really, really good about driving the team to success, and we try to get everything done. What's our timeline, Moose? You say it, not me.
We do close our deals in 30 days. So even though we have all these layers of, second, third, fourth, fifth loans back to it, we want to make sure that we close this in 30 days. Like, we want to be competitive as far as what's out there in the market. As the mainstream lender, we want to make sure that we can close this, because as a realtor, I know that you guys want to make sure that deal are closed on time and you don't lose out on your business. So we do that. And also, on top of that, we communicate constantly with our realtors. We will let them know the progress of the loan. As things progress, we'll let them know they can reach out to us. We reach out to them and give them updates. So we want to make sure that the business loan is done very professionally and closely with those that we work with. So we want to make sure that all those are, in place, and we have a good system in place that really help us. And everybody that we work with are pleased to come back to us or give us great review. So we're very pleased with what we do here.
So now it's time for your questions. That's the last of the slides. This is just information to get in touch with us. We have a system, we have a great team in place that are, waiting to take calls and emails and what have you. Those purchasers, they get connected with our front desk coordinator, who's virtual at this point as well, or a member of our lending team, Shatrice, one of our licensed loan origination assistants, will help guide the client, get them set up in our portal. They get directed to our loan officer, they take the financial fitness class, homebuyer education class, but they're always still in contact with you as their broker, as their realtor. And so that relationship doesn't end. We just simply, walk them through these layers that are necessary so we can get a deal going for them and have them, walk out and go shopping with pre-approval. That's what we're here for. So what questions can we answer for any of you?
Yeah, if I just may point out a couple of things here. I talk about the program that we have within the city of Seattle with 55,000. That on top of that we add our 25,000. But within King County we have a 45,000 that we can provide, and on top of that we put 25,000, and that 45,000 is coming at, and also the same in Snohomish, 50,000, and that's coming at a deferred loan of 3%. So those are great products that we have here. And as Darryl said, we do business statewide, and we can provide payment assistance to almost everybody.
And we recognize, obviously, with what our income limits are, that it's tough to do that in the city of Seattle. We get that. So that's why it's really important for all of you to know that, we do a tremendous amount of business outside of the city of Seattle, because that's where pricing has kind of gone for many of the folks we serve. But in each of these areas, whether it's Snohomish, King, city of Seattle, we have particular down payment assistance programs that are very generous, frankly, especially outside of the city of Seattle. So we're here to serve. We think we can put together a really competitive package for your clients and help them get into a house, achieve their dreams. What questions can we answer for any of you about our mission-driven loans or our process, who we are? Yes, please, Irene.
For the TIN, the numbers, when you're doing those types of loans, are there extra fees or disclosures involved? Extra taxes, anything extra that is involved in that process?
Musa, you take that one.
No. All the fees that we charge for are the origination fee, 1%, and also processing fee, $975. We just try to do exactly what other lenders out there are doing. We're not trying to make things complicated. And of course, there are all those escrow fees that everybody has to pay. Yeah.
Yeah, as a nonprofit lender, we're not doing or charging extra for these different layers and what have you. It's just we're mission driven. When we make fees, they basically just go back into the pot so we can, continue doing what we're doing. Also, much of our dollars, when those loans are paid off, they just simply come back to us as washed, if you will, and we put them right back in the portfolio and lend them back out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just try to model our system like, mainstream lenders, because that's where the market is. We want to be competitive. And just talking about that, if I may send one more piece of information, our DTI, debt to income ratio, is at 43%. We try to play it safe.
I have a question. I'm a newer agent, but I tend to pay attention to a lot of the real estate humor in the market. And one of the ones that sticks with me is buyers are liars and sellers are greedy. Along that lines, oftentimes when you go to submit an offer with DPA specified, a lot of fellow listing agents kind of shy away from that because they have an assumption it's going to take longer, or there's going to be other layers of underwriting, which is going to delay my seller from this opportunity that's similar, or it's going to delay my paycheck. What type of education and outreach is done to not only help buyers, but to educate the agents that represent the sellers in these transactions that often deny the opportunity to the type of people you guys serve?
Musa, that's you.
That's a great question. That's a great question. Yeah, I think we should do more of an outreach to a real estate professional like you guys and talk to you about what we do and how we do it. But we don't have any, we don't have anything out there rather than what we do. We work with the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. We have an outside underwriting for compliance purposes, outside underwriting organization that we work with, and they all know that it's important for us to close our deals on time, because we don't want anything amended where we have to extend. Yeah, we try to avoid extension.
Yeah, the bottom line for us on this is if we're not competitive and in every way, shape, or form, then we can't serve the community, essentially, because our buyers would never be successful.
Exactly.
We did 70 first mortgages last year, 95 second mortgages last year, a couple of refinances and rescue loans. And so clearly our clients are, they're competitive. They're definitely getting some houses, which is the bottom line, right? So we have to be able to communicate with all of you really clearly in the process, but our goal is always that 30-day mark. And we know we're in competition with folks out there, but we also, frankly, can serve a part of the population that really isn't receiving the level of service that they deserve. So were it not for the programs that HomeSight can provide, the housing gap would be even bigger than it is. It's big enough already. So we'll do our very best to meet those guidelines for you, make sure that your offers are competitive.
Yeah, and also just to add something to that is coming from the private sector. I know how important it is to close on time or before, because that's a huge deal for real estate professional. And I worked as a commission officer prior to coming here, so I know how important that is. So therefore, we have a system in place that allows us to do that, to make sure we respect what we say. And not only that, the folks that we work with, like the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, when things are there, we communicate with them, and both Darryl and I have the contact of the higher ups over there, and it's an email or a phone call away for them to work on our file, because they really care about what we do with them. Yeah.
There's a question in the chat from Ashley. I just want to make sure we address this. Ashley says, is there an FAQ informational sheet that we could include with offers to drive home the point that these still are standard 30-day closed loans? Musa, I don't know if we've been including anything at all in that. You would know better than I would, though.
We can definitely provide that. Absolutely. To Ashley. Yeah, and to everybody, actually. We can.
Yeah, that would provide more context of what this DPA program is, so that people don't think it's some weird extra thing or something.
Absolutely.
There was another question I interrupted.
If home buyers go through the Washington State Financing Commission and get their DPA certificates outside of your organization, is it the same certification? Like, do they overlap, or do they need to go through your curriculum specifically?
They can definitely use that one, because it's good for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, they can use that. But however, like Darryl said earlier, we have HUD certified counselors here. But before anybody close a deal with us, you can even do it the last day before we close. You have to have that one-on-one counseling session with our HUD certified folks. It can be done virtually or over the phone. So,
okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Great questions, folks. Thank you. Keep them coming.
So just to be clear, each of those down payment programs, you weren't saying to stack the down payment assistant programs. You were saying to use one of the down payment assistant programs. Could you clarify on that?
Absolutely. Some can be stacked up, but some, not all can be stacked up, but some can be stacked up together. Yeah. Like, let's say somebody's buying in Snohomish, they can use the 50,000 plus the 25 from HomeSight, that's 75,000. Plus, if they qualify for the social justice fund, that's another 10,000.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And those are all deferred. Those are deferred. We consider those deferred second mortgages, essentially. Any other questions we can answer? It's a pleasure being with all of you today. And part of our, Musa and I, we don't want HomeSight to continue to be a best kept secret, but it's still surprising how many people have not heard about what we offer, even though we've been around for 30 years as a builder, especially as a lender. So we're really anxious to make sure you know how to find us and know that we're a referral source for you as well. We're actually starting to have conversations with commercial banks in our marketplace so they know about us as a referral source as well, because when that person, let's say, walks into Chase and they aren't mortgage ready, there's a resource for them to say, hey, there's an organization that can work with you, put you on the path to getting ready. We can afford to be a little bit more patient than a commercial bank. So let's say you have a buyer client that's not ready to buy a house this coming Saturday, but they might be in 6 months or maybe even a year if they get themselves ready. We would be happy to speak with them, work with them, help get them ready, and then provide them with mortgage services, and keeps them your client as well.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Darryl or Musa? Looks like the contact information is in the chat if anybody wants to reach out to them directly.
Feel free to do so. We'd be pleased to speak with you.
This is Perry Eskridge up in Whatcom County. I have a question for you. I realize all of this stuff seems to be geared towards King, Pierce, and Seattle specifically. Do you guys have plans to reach out eventually to the rest of the I-5 corridor, or?
Musa, go ahead. We were just speaking about that earlier today, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to reach out to everybody. Like Darryl says, keep saying we are the best kept secret, and our goal is to make sure that people know about what we do. So we work with partner organization. We work with like Homestead, Community Land Trust, Habitat for Humanity, but also other organizations, other realtors, and not to mention organizations' names though, but we work with many realtor organizations. In fact, there are some that are pairing us with us and hitting churches and other organizations to do presentations. So we're absolutely trying to put things out there. And also we have a huge social media platform. We use things, we put things on our LinkedIn pages. We have a Facebook, we have a website, and also we have folks out there sharing our information, like the ULEX program that Darryl is talking about, the co-op. We send it to folks that we work with, that we partner with, but also to our board members, and everybody's putting it out there. So yeah, and if you guys, any of you is willing to partner with us, work with us, we're happy to do that.
Well, I would say that if you're interested in expanding up here in Whatcom County, I know probably several organizations that would be very interested to talk to you.
I'll be happy to work with you on that.
Great.
If you can email me right after this, please do that.
Great.
I'll be happy to, because we want to make sure we do, because the market here, not that it's saturated, our folks are still closing deals, but it's getting more and more difficult to find things here. Most of our clients right now within King County are buying in Burien, Des Moines, Federal Ways, and such. So
right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, you have my email there. Just reach out to me right after this, and I'll be happy to connect with you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much for your time today. It's a real pleasure to chat with you, let you know what we're up to and what we can provide, and appreciate your questions. And anytime you want to have us back for an update, we'd be happy to do so. And we really look forward to working with some of you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
right.
Liz. Thanks, Michelle.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. All right,
Have a
take
good
care.